I say Ramadan Kareem, which means may the blessings and the benefits of Ramadan be upon you. For those who are called to Ramadan, for those who have come out of the thinking of the capitalistic society and want to know about Ramadan, we're going to explain to Ramadan the best way that is can be explained with the knowledge that is here but is not accepted by a lot of people. So getting back to the point that the original Quran and the Quranic script, the writings, you will not find the letters ba, ta, tha, thal, zay, sin, dad, za, gayin, and khaf. These letters weren't found because they were not originally in the writings of the Holy Quran. You had no nukta. A nukta is a dot. It's a dot on the letters. If the nuktas were not added to the letters, most people could not tell the difference between a ba, a ta, and a tha. The same applies to the letters sheen, sin, dad, and sad. As you place the nukta over different letters, it changes the meaning of the word. If you have hamada and you put the nukta, it changed the word to hamatha or hamada or hamatha or jamada and jamatha or dahata and dhahata. The dots that did appear were the systems that Muslims brought about in the name of preserving the Quran, which made only things more difficult for readers of the Quran. This happened because they were trying to bring a primitive document into modern times. Arabia was controlled by poets, and the Prophet Muhammad was not a poet. In fact, the Quran speaks about poets in the Quran 69:41 and 36:69. Thus, his book was not receiving any respect. So it became necessary to improve the words of Allah by men. And Muslims are so blind that they can't see the evil in that. The Quran claims of itself to be the total and complete and without a doubt, which is Quran Surah, second Surah, the first ayat, second chapter, the first verse. It claims to be a clear message. Quran 15th chapter, the first verse. Yet they had to improve upon it with their grammatical system, which makes it impossible for anyone to fully understand, which leaves them the right to interpret it the way they wish by creating meanings for each word to fit their own newly formed Judaic Christian sect, which they now call Islam. Muslims will have to admit that they do not have the original Quran. The Quran that they hold in their hands today is not the original. And if you ask the sincere Muslim, do they have the original Quran? They will say, we have the oldest copy of Quran. Or this Quran has no doubt in it. However, oldest does not mean original. And the Quran does have doubts in the form of many mistakes. Sorry, but it has been proven that it does. The Quran that you hold in your hand today has been proven fallible. It does have mistakes in in Arabic and mistranslation in the English. Contradictions and mistakes go on and on. And being that Muslims do not have the original Quran, they have no foundation for their religion without it. Muslims have a habit of talking about the Quran like it is so unique or original, and it comes from Judaic and Christian teachings and books. The very Quran put forth a 14-year-old challenge to produce a book or a chapter or a verse like it, claiming that it is impossible for anyone with the help of all the pages and all the ink in the world to produce one verse, a chapter of the whole book like it. And this request was made in several places in Quran 52:34, the Quran 17:88, the Quran 11:13, the Quran 2:23. Well, guess what? It took many years for anyone to take the challenge seriously, but when they did, the challenge was met in the year 1987 in the book entitled The Life of the Messiah in a Classical Arabic Tongue by Abdul. You can acquire the book from Zuma Institute, Post Office Box 365, Altadena, California, USA, for $3.50. The Quran's elegance was met by a grand poet from Lebanon by a man named Khalil Gibran in a book he wrote entitled The Prophet, and the Muslim world thought it could not be done. Christians mocked the very style of the Quran, the phrases, and the tasmiyah. This goes to show you that it can be done and that anybody can produce the like thereof. The book is divided into 30 chapters and is comprised of verses compiled from the Gospels of the four disciples, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. According to the author, the book was written to show Muslims that the challenge had been made and has been making for 1400 years has finally been met. In this book, The Life of the Messiah in a Classical Arabic Tongue, the verses from the Quran were also taken and reworded using the language of the Quran, so that the book sounds as if it is written like the Quran. Make note that if the challenge has anything to do with the book being able to match the symbolism in the Quran, then it means nothing, because this is a book more symbolic, which is a book of revelation called the Injil. In the Quran 3:3, Quran 5:49, and Quran 5:71, full of prophetic events that came and are coming true right now. As I have said in the past, if we people who are natives of the Arabic language are honest, which is very difficult when it comes to Quran, we will admit that the language and the construction of this book, The Life of the Messiah in a Classical Arabic Tongue, written in the same Arabic of the Quran, its speaking ability is as that of the Quran. I have been reading the Quran in Arabic all my life. It is the same, and face it. Another page in Quran 41:3, it literally says that the Arabic and the English translation that the Quran is in Arabic for people who understand. It says, a book wherein the verses are explained in detail, or Quran in Arabic for people who understand. Surely, if Allah is all knowing, then He knows that the whole world do not speak Arabic at that time, and He would have definitely known that 1400 years after the Quran had been revealed, that the whole world would not be speaking the Arabic language, nor to mention the Quraysh dialect. Here we are in 1996, and less than 10% of the entire world speaks the Arabic language. You cannot tell me that this is not racism. The Quran took some of the stories from Jewish folklore, others from Christian stories and events, others from the Egyptian Coptic stories, such as the story of the raven coming to Cain and Abel in the Quran 5:27. According to Dr. Anis Sharash, the story came from an ancient Jewish tradition. After the death of Christ, 150 to 200, preserved by the Paki Rabbi Eliezer. Also, the second Targum of Esther, which dates back to the 2nd century AD, 400 years before the Quran. It is found to be the source of the Quran 27:17. More proof that the Quran was not for everyone. It is simply promises in paradise. Take a look at the Quran 76:7, and let's see exactly what you're going to be getting in paradise. The first thing they talk about in paradise is garments of silk. The Shuriq, or Arabic word for silk, is haririn, and means dressed in silk, wholly composed of silk. The countries of Persia, China, India, and South Korea are the biggest producers of silk. To the Persians, Chinese, Indians, and South Koreans, silk is not a big thing. Not to mention, you can go to the fabric store right here on earth and purchase as much silk as you like. Thus, this promise is obsolete. The second promise of the Quran was reclining on raised thrones. The thrones that the Quran promised are not more than couches that anybody who can afford furniture has in their living room or dining room. When Muslims hear the word throne, they are thinking of kingship. However, this is not what the Holy Quran is talking about. The Shuriq, Syriac, or Arabic word being used for throne is ariq, and is defined as a raised couches, ornamentally furnished and decorated with, is a tent, a pavilion, or a chamber. Its words do not imply that you will have authority or sit on a throne next to God. Thus, the promise is not what you are expecting. The third promise is neutral weather. The days won't be too hot and the nights won't be too cold. Not on every part of the earth is the sun too hot during the day and too cold during the night. So this statement obviously couldn't apply to the entire world. However, it does apply to the people who live in the desert and have to deal with this kind of weather. Not to mention, scientists know how to control the weather. So whomever is controlling the weather is the person Muslims should be talking to about the weather, or better yet, relocate to another part of the country or world where the weather is tolerable. Thus, this promise is obsolete. The next promise is bunches of fruit. Think for a while. The only place that people cannot grow fruit are barren lands such as deserts and lands that have been stripped of their natural resources. For whatever reason, so to a person who does not have fruit readily accessible, bunches of fruit is a luxury. Thus, the promise is ridiculous. The fifth is Holy Quran 78:33. Promise you female companions called Haruyun, or publicant maidens. First, I would like to point the fact that in Islam, men are allowed to have up to 4 wives, and in some cases more. Men are allowed to choose from a number of wives, and the woman has no say. The point being, Muslims already have their publicant maidens right here on earth. And the word in Arabic, hor, has nothing to do with publicant anything. According to the Arabic English lexicon, hor meaning intense whiteness of the eyes. Nowhere in the Quran does it say that women are promised anything in paradise for being righteous all their lives. The Muslim woman should be asking, what is it in there for them? Or otherwise, they should be able to live their life to their fullest while here on earth, the same way that Muslim men are doing. This is how you know that the Quran you hold in your hand today was written by a man. Thus, this promise is unfair to women. And think about it. Why would God or Allah have to promise you virgin women in heaven? I can go on and on. However, I'll stop right here because I think you got the point, which is all of the material possessions that the Quran promised in heaven or paradise can be attained right here on earth. The Quran was appealing to a people who lived 1400 years ago, when a refrigerator back there would have been a dream come true. The Quran was simply written for those who desired to get away from the harsh life of the desert. So again, scholars are playing word games on you non-Arabic speaking Muslims. This is why it was necessary for us to go into Islam as taught by those pale Arabs and those Negro converts. Islam is not suited for anyone who wants to exercise free will or have their own point of view. Anyone who scrutinizes and investigates does not sit well in their fate. Take, for instance, Imam Wallace D. Muhammad, who was the son of Elijah Muhammad. He had to talk bad about his father in order for those Arabs to accept him. We're also talking about Siraj Wahaj. He had to talk bad about the other Muslim leaders who doesn't agree with Saudi Arabia's concept on racism. Islam asks you to forgive about the Middle Passage, which is the transportation of slaves from Africa to America. Islam, it asks you to forget about the lives that were lost before, during, and after slavery. It asks you to forgive about the injustice and travesties that our ancestors endured. People like Harriet Tubman, who risked her life for freedom. It asks you to forget about the genocide, such as AIDS and the Tuskegee experiment, where Nubians was injected with syphilis for over a period of 40 years. It asks you to forget about the subliminal seductions and the inferior complexes that were put into the minds of the Nubian worldwide. It asks you to forget about the hangings and the castrations. It asks you to forget about the KKK, or what they call the Ku Klux Klan, the lynchings, and the way Nubians were treated worldwide. Just reflect back for a minute to the Rodney King beatings back in 1993. It asks you to pretend that there is no racism in Islam. Arabs come over to America saying no more racism, but it is easy for them to say that because they never had to endure racism. But ask a Palestinian Muslim about the Jews, he hates them. And the Iranians about the Iraqians about the Croatians, he hates them. And the Afghanistans about the Russians, and the Bosnians about the Croatians, etc. They all have, or they all hate other races for what they did to them. But us Nubians are being told it is wrong to hate the Caucasians for what they did and is still doing to us. If any Nubians who tells you he forgot all of the sufferings and pain and all of the history, he is lying. It asks you to ignore reality. Islam asks you to ignore scientific facts. It creates its own geography. In a nutshell, it asks you to have blind faith, and simply the blind leading the blind. So in order to get our people out of this spellbinding religion, we couldn't merely study it and talk about it. We had to get into it, live in Islam, and become part of it. Make it one of our schools in the way to Nawabu. And then wake up our people to the true past and bring it to the present. We go back way before 1400 years, and you cannot convince me that acknowledging my ancestors, be there Anu, Enlil, Tammuz, Horus, Isis, or Re, is idol worship. While you remember dead individuals such as your caliphs, your companions, and the writers of your hadith, and even have pictures thrown into your books and statues of them in Islamic countries. I say, we simply give you back your isms, and I will spend the rest of my days waking up the children of Nawabu, the Nawabians, and getting them away from ignorance disguised in any religion, regardless of what kind of Muslim you call yourself. They do not even agree on the one path they say they lead you to. Even in the Quran of today, Muslims can't agree on the correct translation. Each sect claims that theirs is the most accurate. They can't even agree on how to spell Muhammad's name in English. From sect to sect, you will find Muhammad, Muhammad, Mohammed, Mohemmed, Mohammed, Mohemet, Muhammad, Muhamed, Mohammed, Mohammed, or Mohammed, Mohammed. Now look. Let's take a look at the definition of the name Muhammad. According to the Muslim's name by Fatima Susan El Jafari in 1977, the Prophet Muhammad means praised. According to the book of Muslims name by Azaza Hamid in 1986, the Prophet Muhammad means praiseworthy, commendable. In the Dictionary of Islam by Thomas Patrick Hughes, the Prophet Muhammad means the praised one. According to these various books, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is defined as praise. The Prophet Muhammad's name at birth, which was Ahmed, which means praiseworthy, when it should be said one who praises, because according to Muslims, only Allah is worthy of praise, which is his 56th attribute, El Hamidu, meaning all praiseworthy. Thus, Muhammad's name should have been Abdul Hamid, serving or servant of the praiseworthy. Thus, it is how you know Muslims are Prophet Muhammad worshippers. And when they place the Prophet Muhammad's name next to Allah's in the kalimats, they are actually saying some praise is due to Allah and some praise is due to Muhammad. Yes, this is called shirk, or idolatry, binding partners, something that Muslims do every time they call the Adhan and recite the Kalimat according to the Quran, 4th Surah, 48th ayah. Shirk is a sin that is not to be forgiven. It says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna Allah la, God forgiveth not. The partners should be set up with him, but he forgiveth anything else to whom he pleases. To set up partners with Allah is to devise a sin most heinous indeed. So as you can see, they have taken it a step further by ascribing the attributes of Allah to Muhammad. You had the Prophet Muhammad, who was the son of Abdullah and Amina. When the statement was made that no one can produce a book like the Holy Quran, it was talking about the original Quran that the Prophet Muhammad received. Have Muslims not made additions, alterations such as nuqtas and vowels, Christians would not have been able to produce another like it. The Quran would not have been able to be duplicated. So Muslims can't hold up to the Quran of today and say there is no doubt in it. As I have said before, the argument can only be understood by 1% of the Muslim world, because only 10% of the whole Muslim world speaks Arabic. What is really sad is that 1% of the 10% understand classical Arabic enough to read the Quran properly. Most Arabs that speak Arabic speak a bad dialect, and even the educated ones have not been fortunate enough to understand the Arabic of the Quran. They made the grammar so complicated that not even they understand it, in the modern day Quran. Therefore, people like Ahmed Diat, who does not speak Arabic, will truly never know the challenge has been met by Christians. The problem with Muslims is that they make the mistake of thinking that Muhammad and the Quran was sent to the whole world. They even have quotes they think is backing it up. Quran 7:158, Quran 21:107, Quran 25 verse 1. And as usual, Muslims have mistranslated and misused these quotes in the Quran. As we go to Holy Quran 7:15, it says, "Say, O men, I am sent unto you as the apostle of Allah, to whom belong the dominion of the heavens and the earth. There is no creator but He. It is He that giveth both life and death. So believe in Allah and His apostles, the unlettered prophet who believed in Allah and His words. Follow him so that you may be guided." In this quote, these scholars have translated the Shuric Arabic word Jamian as you all, and have you thinking that it means the whole world. The word Jamian does not mean you all. It comes from the root word Jama, which means he gathered together. A gathering is more like a group of people from the whole world, as opposed to the whole world itself. If it was for the whole world, which is the word Alamin, as in Rabbil Alamin, they translate it Lord of the worlds in Holy Quran 56:80. Then there is Dunya for world in Holy Quran 42:20. And if Allah meant for all the world to receive and understand this new holy book, there would have been a new language created right there, not just the Quraysh dialect, but one that everybody in the whole world would understand, rather than translate the Holy Quran and lose the true meaning. Hence, this quote is referring to a particular group of people. In this case, the Ishmaelites were the people who Muhammad was sent to. And that's in Holy Quran 3:10, 3:1 through 10, Holy Quran 89:10, Holy Quran 64:58. However, in Holy Quran 3:103, the word Jamia or Jamian is used, but this time the implication is not they are speaking about Allah's Ummah or Jamaat or community, which does not include the Christians, the Buddhists, the Hindus, or anyone else who is not a true Arab. Holy Quran 3:103, and hold fast all together by the rope which Allah stretches out for you, and be not divided amongst yourselves. So do not let them tell you that the word Jamian means the whole world. The same way Jesus was sent to his people, which was called the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And that's Matthew 10:6, Matthew 15:24, Matthew 18:11. So was the Prophet Muhammad. Every nation is sent a warner. It is written in Holy Quran 1097, Holy Quran 7:2. And Muhammad was sent to the Arabs. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. The Prophet Muhammad was only universal because he taught what he taught could be applied by people around the world, but he was not sent to all the people on earth. The Quran was not sent in the Quraysh dialect. The Quran was sent down in the Quraysh dialect to a specific tribe of people. The Quran was sent down in the Quraysh dialect to a specific tribe of people. The Quran was sent down in the original language called Quraysh and the dialect of a specific tribe of people. However, the Quran could serve as a warning and a guidance for the whole world. I repeat, Muhammad was not speaking to the Jews. Muhammad was not speaking to the Europeans. Muhammad was not speaking to the Chinese. Muhammad was not speaking to the Hindus. And Muhammad was not speaking to those who call themselves Arabs today. Muhammad was speaking only to the descendants of Ishmael, which is spoken of Genesis 25:12, who was Abraham's first son by his wife Hagar in Genesis 16:15. She was Hagar, or Hathar, was the daughter of Imhotep. Muhammad was not a universal prophet and was not sent to the whole world who were Nubians. In the Quran 7:188, it clearly uses the Arabic word Qawm, meaning kindred. But in the English translation, the word Qawm is not translated as kindred. It is mistranslated as those who have faith, which in Arabic is Alathina, Ya Mu'minuna. So Holy Quran 7:188, I am a warner and bringer of glad tidings to those who have faith. That is the Yusuf Ali's translation. Muslims will use this quote to support their beliefs that Muhammad was sent to the world. By mistranslating it, anyone could have faith in Islam. But the question is, are you from the tribe in which Muhammad was sent to warn? According to the American Heritage Dictionary, the word kindred means a group of related persons as a clan or a tribe. A person's relatives, kinfolk, kindred of the same ancestry or family, kindred clans, having a similar or related origin, having a similar or related nature, having a similar or related character. As any Arabic-speaking Muslim, if you ask them, why is it that the word Qawm is used in Holy Quran 254, When speaking about Moses and his people, Quran 23:23 speaks about Noah and his people. Quran speaks about the Pharaoh and his people. Quran 27:54 speaks about Lot and his people. Quran 29:16 speaks about Abraham and his people. In all of these quotes, the word Qam is translated correctly in the English as his people or kindred. When it comes to Quran 7:188, it is mistranslated in the English. Now ask yourself, why is this so? The same facts apply to Quran. The Quran was not sent to the entire world. If the Quran was sent to the whole world or universal, it would have been revealed in a universal language. Further confirmation that the Quran was sent only to a specific group of people are in the following quotes in Quran 14:4 and Quran 41:3. It says, Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, we sent not a messenger except to teach in the language of his own people in order to make things clear to them. It says, we sent not a messenger except to teach in the language of his own people in order to make things clear to them. And Muslims on Hadith, they even say that the Quran was revealed in the Quraysh dialect. Even as far back as the 17th century, there were inscriptions found in the magazine called The Aramco World. The September-October 1989 issue reads, the Prophet Muhammad al-Hadi, meaning the Prophet Muhammad is the guide. Al-Hadi is the 94th attribute of Allah, which means the guide. The word Al-Hadi comes from the root word Huda, which according to the Lane's Arabic English lexicon means to calm, still, and motionless. They are using one of Allah's name and they are attributed to a human, which the Quran 7:180 and 59:24 tells you not to do it. It does not say that Muhammad wal al-Hadi, which would read Muhammad and the guide. However, without the wa, they are saying that Muhammad is the guide, which I repeat, is one of Allah's name. To call Muhammad al-Hadi is to call him Allah. Muslims have worshipped the Prophet Muhammad for so long that they have a list of 104 attributes for him, and most of them consist of Allah's attributes. Putting the Prophet Muhammad and Allah on the same level. They also use the name Alat for Allah as the feminine gender of Allah in Quran 53:19. Yet at the same time, scholars dispute the meaning of Alat. They claim that this is the idol Lat was a man who lived on a rock near Ta'if and used to entertain the pilgrims to Mecca with barley drinks and food. When he died, the people built a shrine to him. The same rock began worshiping him. According to Jarir Taban, originally the word was al-Lahatun, which became The word alat simply means female source. Now take for instance the kalimat. According to the word Quran, Arabic dictionary means a word, an expression, a proposition, a sentence, a saying, a argument, an assertion, an expression of opinion. The word kalimat was translation of the New Testament of John 1:1, and I quote, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Allah, and the Word was Allah." In the right translation, the word kalimat, which is the saying or the word as it is mistranslated in the Bible as La ilaha illallah. Nothing would exist if Allah didn't create it. This creed was innovated. The kalimat was taken from two different verses in the Quran which aren't found together anywhere. An example of this is La ilaha illa Allah Muhammadin Rasulullah. There is no Allah but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Muslims call this the Kalimat Tayyiba, or the best of words. This is not found written like this anywhere in your Quran. However, they are found in 7 verses, but they are broken into 2 parts. They are never together as one sentence. La ilaha illallah is found alone in Holy Quran 37:35. Check it out. For they, when they were told that there is no creator except Allah, would puff themselves up with pride. Holy Quran 47:19. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Know therefore that there is no creator but Allah, and ask forgiveness for thy faults. Muhammadan Rasulullah is found alone in Holy Quran 33:40. Muhammad is not the father of your men, but he is the apostle of Allah and the seal of the prophets. Muhammad is the apostle of Allah, and those who are with him are strong against the unbelievers. This is how it is written in the Quran of the Muslims. They are never found in the same place, yet the flag of Saudi Arabia, which is where the holies of holies sit in Mecca, has the same declaration, the Kalimat Taliba, written on it. Many of their Islamic books, posters, and letters don this man-made verse. However, if you or I was to take 2 verses from the Quran and put it together to create one sentence like La ilaha illallah, they would call it shirk and have a heart attack saying Astaghfirullah min el kafirun, and meaning I seek forgiveness in Allah because they are disbelievers, or they will seek to kill you. The only reason why Muslims call the declaration Kalimat Taliba the best word is because it exalts Muhammad by putting his name next to their God, which is Allah, or Allah's name. They have taken one of the definitions of the Kalimat, which is an expression of opinion, to justify their saying that the Kalimat Tayyiba should be the one to be expressed. It really should be called the Kalimat ad-Nabi, which is Muhammad Rasul Allah, or the word of the Prophet, not the best Kalimat. Then you have what they call Kalimat Shahada, which is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, which you falsely translate as I bear witness there is no God but Allah. But this is really meaning I watch that there is no Allah but Allah. The word shahada is defined as a testimony, to witness, evidence, disposition, statement, or attest. Shahada comes from the Ashuric, Syriac, Arabic root word shahada, meaning to watch, to witness, to see, the personally with one eyes. In Quran 676-73 of the Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation, the word shahada is mistranslated as open, where it says, and I quote, He maketh the unseen as well as that which is open, for he is the wise, well acquainted with all things. According to the Webster's Unabridged Dictionary, the word witness in the English language means a person who saw, to give evidence, to testify. The same word is used when referring to watching television, which means that you admitted that they can see Allah. According to Muslims, this is blasphemy. Then they add, Wahdahu la sharika lahu. He is alone and has no partners, to the kalimat shahada, to come up with the kalimat at-tawhid. This kalimat is another innovation by Muslims because it is also not mentioned in the Quran. The word tawheed is not even found in the Quran. The word tawheed means aloneness. And when they recite this kalimat, they are supposed to be stating that they have faith in Allah only. Ashadu and la illa. Ashadu and la illa illa illallah. Wahdahu la sharika lahu. I bear witness that there is no creator but Allah. He is alone and has no partners. Now the wa is from wahid, meaning one, or la, meaning no, and sharik, meaning partners. So what Muslims are implying is la, he does not have any ashabahu, meaning companions, or mathala, meaning likeness, or shahaba, which is the root word of yashbahu, meaning anyone who looks like him. But what you mean is no shahaba, or no sadiq, no friends, but not la sharika lahu, he has no partners. This is being misused. The word sharik is derived from the word sharika, meaning partnership of a corporation or associates, and they have to constantly say that Allah is alone. Why is this necessary if Allah was the one and only? Wahdahu la sharika lahu should not have to be said. It should be a known fact. Making this mere statement is admitting that Allah is not alone, and Quran 15:26-27 proves this when it says, and I quote, We created man from sound clay, from mud molded into shape, and the jinn race we had created before from the fire of the foreskin wind. So the kalimat al-tawheed, which is ashadu an la ilaha illa Allah wahdahu la sharika lahu, is supposed to be the first of the five pillars of faith. However, this so-called first pillar is really two, which makes six pillars of faith, not five. Pay closer attention to the following. Muslims add to the Kalimat Tawhid Muhammad Rasul Allah. And we're going to end that right there, and I'll get back to you. Happy Ramadan. I think you should listen to it 7 times and try to place yourself, take the notations of the surahs and look them up. Do the research.